Good morning, all. Today we'll start with a new topic, that is empyema. Empyema is first we'll see the definition. It is a pleural abscess and consists of a collection of pus in pleural cavity. So whenever there is collection of pus in the pleural cavity, that is pleural abscess, that is called as empyema. Okay. This term, that is empyema, it is often wrongly used in wider sense, that is from pleural infection to mature abscess with thick pus. For all this, from pleural infection to the abscess formation, that is with thick pus, for all these infectious procedures, the term may often wrongly used, that is empyema. Okay. The etiological factors we will see now. This empyema, it is never primary, but it is secondary to various infections. Like it is secondary to pulmonary infection, particularly pneumococcal pneumonia and bronchopneumonia. If patient is having pneumonia, then the patient may get empyema. Okay. Then this empyema complicate various diseases like TB, lung abscess, or bronchiectasis. Any infective process, that is tuberculosis or lung abscess or bronchiectasis, these diseases may be complicated by empyema. So in these diseases also we can see empyema. Okay. Then any inflammatory condition in the vicinity of pleura. So in the pleura, if there is any inflammatory condition, that will give rise to empyema. For example, in chest wall, if there is wound or osteomyelitis of rib, that may lead to empyema formation. Next is when there is any inflammatory condition in lung, that is pneumonia or abscess or bronchiectasis, tuberculosis, or any new growth. These are the diseases of the lung. So these inflammatory diseases of lung may also give rise to empyema. Then from esophagus, if there is perforation of esophagus or carcinoma of esophagus, that may also lead to empyema formation or pus formation in the pleura. Then there are some conditions that are below the diaphragm, that is subphrenic abscess. Sub is below the diaphragm, phrenic is diaphragm. So subphrenic abscess may also lead to empyema formation. So these are the etiological factors. Once again I will revise, that is this empyema is never primary, it is secondary to the various infections like pleural pulmonary infection, that is particularly pneumococcal pneumonia and bronchopneumonia. Then some diseases like tuberculosis or lung abscess and bronchiectasis, they may be complicated by empyema. And next etiological factor is the any inflammatory condition in the vicinity of pleura. In the vicinity of pleura, if there is any inflammatory condition, that will give rise to empyema. Like inflammatory condition in chest wall, like if there is any wound or osteomyelitis of rib, or the conditions from lung like pneumonia, abscess, bronchiectasis, tuberculosis, or any new growth in the lung. Then from esophagus, if there is perforation or carcinoma, that may also give rise to empyema. And the conditions that are below the diaphragm like subphrenic abscess, that may also lead to empyema. Some post-operative procedures like thoracotomy will also give rise to empyema formation. Okay, now we'll move to the pathology, how the empyema forms, or how the abscess becomes localized. Okay, so in pathology, this condition is mostly post pneumonic. Okay, so what happens in post pneumonic empyema? First, there is serous effusion that occur. Okay, so when there is inflammation, there will be effusion that is formed in the pleura, that is serous effusion. Then this pleura is invaded by various organisms by lung. So after pneumonic after pneumonia, there will be inflammatory procedure that occur in the pleura, and the pleura is invaded by organisms that are from lungs. Okay, then the various inflammatory changes occur when organisms enters into the pleura, and as we have seen in inflammatory changes, the exudate will form. So after inflammation, there will be formation of exudate. Then fibrin is deposited on the surface of pleura. On the surface of pleura, there will be deposition of fibrin. Then in certain types, intrapleural clotting may occur, and they form protein rich exudate, that is pneumococcal empyema. So in certain types, there will be intrapleural clotting. Okay, and it forms protein rich exudate. Then the natural defense mechanism of the body will start. As there is infection or inflammation, then body will try to defend from that organism. So the natural defense mechanism will start. So it will cause encircling of the septic area by barrier of fibrous tissue. So in pleura, there will be the barrier of fibrous tissue is formed around the septic area. Where there is septic area, it is surrounded by fibrous tissue. It is initially it is achieved by fusion of lung to the chest wall and at periphery of collection of fluid. Then fibrin is deposited on the pleura, that is invaded by blood vessels. Okay, fibrin that is deposited on pleura, it is invaded by blood vessel, and there will be formation of granulation tissue. This is the natural defense mechanism of the body, and later on the fibrous tissue is formed. This process then progresses. Then the thickness of wall of empyema occur. As this pus is localized, the wall of the empyema will become thick, and nature will try to obliterate empyema by covering it into plaque of fibrous tissue. So a plaque of fibrous tissue is formed around that pus. Then empyema becomes walled off by adhesions, and the fluid gets thickened. So presence of thick pus is a good indication of localization of empyema, and it is unlikely to spread further. So when there is localization of the thick pus, the empyema or the pus will not form at the other sides of pleura. The remaining part of pleura will be safer, as there is localization of pus, and that pus is it is localized and it is walled up by fibrous tissue. So it will not spread the remaining area of pleura. At this stage, the operation of decortication must be done, otherwise secondary changes may occur. Okay, So when there is localization of pus, you have to do the operative procedure, that is decortication, that should be done. Otherwise there will be secondary changes that may occur, and the secondary changes are the fibrous tissue gets contracted, the ribs drawn together and lose their mobility. The ribs are drawn together and they will lose their mobility. The diaphragm will be elevated and it is fixed, and the mediastinum is drawn towards the affected side. Okay, because of fibrous tissue contraction, all these secondary changes occur. And also the lung is encased in rigid covering of fibrous tissue, and it becomes immobile and functionless. So these are the secondary changes that will occur if the operative procedure that is not done. So that is the it may be also called as mature empyema. So the secondary changes that occur, they are due to fibrous tissue contraction, and as the fibrous tissue contract, the ribs are drawn together and they lose their mobility. The diaphragm is elevated and fixed, the mediastinum is drawn towards the affected side, and the lung is enclosed in the rigid coverings of fibrous tissue, and it becomes immobile and functionless. And the final picture of the neglected chronic empyema is the rigid contracted chest with relatively functionless lung, and that is called as frozen chest. Okay, these are the pathological changes that occur in empyema. Once again, I will repeat it briefly. Okay, the pathological changes that occur post pneumonic empyema. First there will be serous fluid, serous effusion that is formed. Then the pleura is invaded by various organisms. Then inflammatory changes occur, the exudate will form. Then after formation of exudate, there will be deposition of fibrin on the surface of pleura, and that will be of protein rich exudate. And then the natural defense mechanism will start, and that septic area is encircled by fibrous tissue, and afterwards initially it is achieved by fusion of lung and to the chest wall at periphery of collection of fluid. Then as there is fibrin deposit on pleura, that is invaded by blood vessels, and afterwards granulation tissue is formed, and the empyema or the abscess or the pus that is walled off by various adhesions, and the wall becomes thick. There will be localization of pus, and if when there is localization of pus, it is a good indication that when there is presence of thick pus, it is a good indication of localization of empyema, and it will not spread further. And at this stage you have to do the operative procedure, that is decortication, and if it is not done, then secondary changes may occur because of fibrous tissue contraction. Okay, that is frozen chest may occur. Then we'll move to the clinical features. There are three groups, that is acute, subacute and chronic. So first we'll see about the acute empyema. It is rare but may be followed by perforation of esophagus or rupture of lung abscess. And in the clinical features of acute empyema are there will be profound toxemia, there will be shock with pleural pain, then there will be rapid and shallow respiration. The treatment for acute empyema is thoracotomy if it is followed by rupture or perforation of esophagus. Otherwise, in other cases, treatment is repeated aspiration with systemic and transpleural antibiotics are given, and if that fails, then drainage is done with intercostal catheterization. So this is acute empyema, which is very rare condition, and this acute fulminating toxic empyema, it may be followed by esophageal perforation or rupture of lung abscess. And obviously the clinical feature, there will be profound toxemia, patient may be in shock like condition with pleural pain, severe pleural pain, and there will be rapid and shallow respiration. The treatment is thoracotomy, and if it is followed by rupture and perforation of esophagus. In other cases, treatment is repeated aspiration with systemic and intrapleural antibiotics, and if that is failed, then drainage with intercostal catheterization is done. The next one is subacute empyema. It is less severe because of use of antibiotics in primary condition. When in primary condition you are given various antibiotics, so this form, that is subacute empyema, it is less severe. Okay. Therefore, empyema develops insidiously and its presence is completely overlooked. In case of pneumonia, if there is delayed resolution or slow convalescence or persistent fever following pneumonic illness, then this condition is suspected. How the subacute empyema is suspected? If there is delayed resolution or slow convalescence period, or when there is persistent fever. If patient is having persistent fever following pneumonic illness, then this condition may be suspected. Otherwise, it is overlooked because of it develops insidiously. Then you have to do physical and radiological signs of resolution. They are inconclusive. So in this condition, if the fever is persistent, or when there is slow convalescence or delayed resolution, then you have to do physical clinical examination of the patient, as well as radiological examination should be done. And clinically, what we will see is there will be stony dullness, there will be absent breath sounds, the diminished chest movements will be there, and there will be displacement of viscera. So you have to do careful clinical examination, as well as you have to do radiological examination in subacute empyema, because it can be overlooked because of the various antibiotics that are given in the primary condition. So clinical examination is very important. Then next one is chronic empyema. It is because of mismanagement of acute or subacute stages. If you mismanage the case, then it may lead to chronic empyema. Then when there is failure to diagnose the original condition, if diagnosis is improper, then that patient may develop chronic empyema. Or if there is underlying pathology of lung, like lung abscess, bronchiectasis or tumor. Like in lungs there will be bronchiectasis, in pleura, that is foreign body or actinomycosis. Then the conditions of chest wall like rib sequestrum, these are the condition where that may lead to chronic empyema. The clinical feature or the symptoms in chronic empyema are there will be vague ill health, febrile bouts will be there, and there will be anemia. And this, it may be presented in several ways. There are various ways that chronic empyema may be presented. That is, first one is closed collection of pus completely walled off from its surrounding, that is called as latent empyema. Then if this pus is sterile, then you have to suspect for TB, tuberculosis. The second one is an empyema which is discharging continuously or intermittently into bronchus. Then it is because of bronchopleural fistula. So empyema which is discharging continuously or intermittently into bronchus, then that is bronchopleural fistula. And third one is an empyema which is discharging either continuously or intermittently through sinus in chest wall, that is persistent empyema. So these are the presentations of chronic empyema. First one is closed collection of pus completely walled off from its surroundings, that is latent empyema. And this, if that pus is sterile, then you have to suspect for tuberculosis. Then second presentation is an empyema which is discharging continuously or intermittently into bronchus. Empyema that is discharging into bronchus, that is bronchopleural fistula, because of bronchopleural fistula. And empyema which is discharging either continuously or intermittently through the sinus in chest wall, that is persistent empyema. The diagnosis is done by finding pus with an exploring needle, and if failure to find the pus it may be due to use of too much narrow needle or inefficient syringe, or selection of wrong site for aspiration, or it may be because of presence of clot or fibrin tags which blocks the aspirating needle. So the diagnosis by finding the pus with an exploring needle, diagnosis is done by finding pus with an exploring needle. And if there is failure to find the pus, that is because of use of too narrow needle, using the narrow needle or inefficient syringe, or it may be because of selection of wrong site for aspiration, or when there is presence of clot or fibrin tags which blocks the aspirating needle. So proper clinical and radiological examination should be done in case of empyema, as well as bacteriological examination of pus. Then bronchoscopy has to be done because it may be secondary to carcinoma, and that should be suspected after 40 years. Or it may be because of lung disease, that is lung abscess or bronchiectasis, or chronic infection like tuberculosis or actinomycosis. So diagnosis is by finding the pus with exploring needle. Then you have to do proper clinical and radiological examination. You have to do bacteriological examination of that pus. then you have to do bronchoscopy, and bronchoscopy is done because it may be secondary to carcinoma, that is you have to suspect it after 40 years. Then for the lung disease like lung abscess or bronchiectasis, and for some chronic infection like tuberculosis or actinomycosis. Then we will move to the management or the treatment part of empyema. It depends on the stages where it is diagnosed. So it will depend on the stages in which it is diagnosed. First stage is acute empyema. In acute empyema, initially you have to do aspiration on alternate days with removal of much pus and introducing the antibiotics. If aspiration fails to control infection, then intercostal tube drainage is done, and if pus still produced after 14 days, then you have to move for stage 2. So in what you have to do in stage first or in acute empyema, aspiration that has to be done on alternate days. You have to remove the pus and you have to introduce the antibiotics, and if it is not controlled by aspiration, then ICD is done, that is intercostal drainage is done. And if still the pus is produced after 14 days, then the stage second is there, that is subacute empyema. So what we have to do in second stage, that is subacute empyema, that is rib section drainage is done. If the pus is thick, then you have to do post-operative breathing exercise that are extremely important. Okay, these are the treatment. This is the treatment in second stage, that is rib section drainage is done, and if the pus is thick, then you have to do for rib section drainage, and post-operative breathing exercises are given to the patient. And last one is the stage third, that is in chronic empyema, that is decortication of the pus, that is decortication operation. This is complete removal of empyema with fibrous tissue wall. Okay, this is all about the empyema. Okay, I will repeat it briefly. That is, empyema is a pleural abscess, that is collection of pus in the pleural cavity. Various etiological factors are there. It is never primary and it is secondary to various pulmonary diseases or various infective procedures that are occurred in lungs. Various infections in the like infection in chest wall, in lungs or esophagus, or below the diaphragm. Then we have seen the pathological changes that occur whenever there is inflammation. There will be exudate is formed, then fibrin is deposited on the wall of pleura, then this pus is localized by formation of thick wall of fibrous tissue around it. And if there is thick pus or when there is localization of the empyema, it is a good indication, and because it is unlikely to spread further. And at this stage you have to do the decortication operation, and if it is not done, then there may be secondary changes that may occur. Then there are 3 groups, that is acute, subacute and chronic empyema. The acute empyema is mostly followed by, it is a rare condition, but it is followed by perforation of esophagus or rupture of the lung disease or lung abscess. The clinical features are, there will be profound toxemia, there will be shock, then pleural pain, and patient will have rapid and shallow respiration, and the treatment for that is a thoracotomy, that is, it is followed by rupture or perforation of esophagus. If that is followed by rupture or perforation of esophagus, or in other cases the treatment is repeated aspiration with systemic and intrapleural antibiotics, and if that also fails, then you have to go for drainage with intercostal catheter. Then the subacute empyema, which is less severe because of antibiotics that are given in primary conditions. So this empyema will develop insidiously and its presence is completely overlooked, and clinically you have to diagnose this case, that is with, if when you do the percussion, there will be stony dullness, then there will be absent breath sounds, diminished chest movements, and there will be displacement of viscera. And the third group is chronic empyema, that is because of mismanagement of acute or subacute stages or failure to diagnose the original condition, or it may be because of underlying pathologies of lung like lung abscess, bronchiectasis or tumor, or it may be because of pleural conditions like foreign body or actinomycosis, or chest wall condition like rib sequestrum. And the symptoms in chronic conditions are, there will be vague ill health, there will be febrile bouts and anemia. So you have to treat this or manage this empyema according to the stages, that is needle aspiration is done on alternate days, and if aspiration fails to control the infection, then intercostal tube drainage is done. Then in second stage you have to do rib section drainage if the pus is thick, and lastly in chronic cases, that is in chronic empyema, in third case decortication is done, complete removal of empyema with fibrous tissue wall, that is decortication, complete removal of empyema with fibrous tissue walls. Okay, that is all about the empyema.